Hi, I'm Lawrence Wilson, and this is the third episode of the That Ain't Right podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And now it's time for the story of the week. This article was written by the Associated Press. It was put out on the platform, the PBS News. Washington AP, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg says, senior Biden administration officials pressured Facebook to censor some COVID-19 content during the pandemic and vowed that the social media giant would push back if it was faced with such demands again. If he admitted to that, in my opinion, he was censoring a lot more. He's a left-wing Democrat doing certain things now because Donald Trump is in office. He will change back publicly to his old ways if the power dynamic shifts. It is not just Facebook. This is going on in a lot of other social network platforms and in big business. In a letter to Republican Rep. Jim Jordan, the chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Zuckerberg alleges that the officials, including those from the White House, repeatedly pressured Facebook for months to take down certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire. The officials expressed a lot of frustration when the company didn't agree, he said in a letter. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. Zuckerberg wrote in a letter dated August 26th and posted on Facebook page and on his X account. It's interesting how mainstream media phrases things. They try to get you to feel and think a certain way. Once you see this, you can start to read the words in between the lines. The letter is the latest by Zuckerberg in the efforts to target mainstream misinformation around the coronavirus pandemic during and after the 2020 presidential election, particularly as it alleges that allegations have emerged that some posts were deleted and restricted wrongly. I have to admit, at one point I was afraid to post anything political. You couldn't even wear a red hat walking down the street. Even in private settings, I would sometimes look over my shoulder before I spoke, in fear that someone might hear what I was saying. It didn't feel like America. But I did not want to deal with the ramifications. I was worried about what might happen. I wasn't thinking about what damage it was causing in real time. I stayed silent. George Washington once said, "I'll die on my feet before I live on my knees." It gets to that point. I couldn't worry about myself any longer. It was time to stand up for my beliefs and rights as an American. If we don't, our liberties will slowly be stripped away. That is why I threw my hat into the arena and started this podcast. We are the silent majority, and we can no longer allow them to silence us. Zuckerberg also said, I also think we made some choices that with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. He said without elaborating, quote, "We're ready to push back if something like that happens again. In response, the White House said in a statement, when confronted with a deadly pandemic, this administration encouraged responsible actions to protect the public health and safety. Our position has been clear and consistent. We believe tech companies and other private actors should take into account the effects their actions have on American people while making independent choices about the information they present. Experts warn this year's U.S. election could be swamped by misinformation on social media, with publications of AI and other tools to produce false news stories and content that could mislead voters. On a side note, I encourage everyone to read the book by George Orwell called 1984. When people control what you can and can't say and limit how you can say it and who you can say it to, that's not the America I grew up in. They literally eliminated words. They said we couldn't say a lot of things. If you spoke out, you were canceled. If you had a platform, you were deplatformed, or at least shadow banned. They even tried to deplatform the President of the United States, Donald Trump. They could do that to such a powerful man. What could they do to us, the ordinary citizen? Facebook in early 2021 opened what Zuckerberg called labels incredible misinformation to post about COVID-19 vaccines. That's after it moved in April 2020. Just as the virus has led to a global shutdown, radical changes in everyday life, to warn users who shed misinformation about COVID-19. Conservatives have long said that Facebook and other major tech companies as favoring liberal priorities and accused them of censorship. Zuckerberg has tried to change the company's perception on the right, going on podcasts such as Joe Rogan show in 2022 and complimenting, at the time, Republican nominee Donald Trump's in his assassination attempt as badass. He sent Monday's letter to the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jordan and a longtime Trump ally. Zuckerberg also said he would no longer donate money to widen election access for voters through Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, the company that his wife runs. The couple donated $400 million to help local election officials prepare for voters in 2020 presidential election, which funds used to for protective equipment to prevent and spread of the coronavirus at polling sites, drive-through voting, and equipment to process mailing ballots. I know that some people believe this benefited one party over the other, despite analysis showing otherwise, he said. My goal is to be neutral and not play a role one way or the other, or to even appear to be playing a role. So I don't plan on making similar contributions this cycle. Spare me. I can give you at least 400 million reasons not to trust him. That said, I don't have a studio. I don't have fancy equipment. What I do have is a phone, a voice, the truth, and hopefully you. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. And together we can make a difference. Thanks for listening.